Let's go around the room. Immediate reactions to Charlie Kirk's assassination. We're almost a week removed. Viva, we have not had a chance to hear from you yet here on this channel. What were your thoughts regarding the execution? And that's what Candace Owens called it yesterday.
It was.
And I think we have to stop calling it an assassination. We have to stop calling it a murder, stop calling it a killing. This was an execution. It was publicly done. In my opinion, it was done to send a message. That message, I feel like it's been received by a lot of people on the internet. But I want to know who sent the message, and I hope we can get to the bottom of that today.
Well, at least I'll take the word assassination over death or tragedy. People are saying that Charlie Kirk died, and it's like he didn't die; he was murdered. Look, it's horrific, and there's no other word for it. What is the horror on the horror is the reaction from the general public, or at least a substantial portion of the left-leaning general public, which is not unequivocal condemnation and mourning and grieving with the family and his friends and people who knew him and loved him, but almost to say, well, he did say something offensive once upon a time, as if that is a relevant consideration, even if you believe it. It's the rationalizing of evil and the rationalizing of the horror and the celebration of it that, if anything, could be more horrific than the public execution of a peace-loving, God-fearing, proud Christian man in front of public just for speaking. If anything's more horrific than that, it's the rejoicing, the jubilistic, orgiastic glee that we saw on the left.
Vinny, you have a relationship or had a relationship with Charlie. We have had him on the podcast. We've actually interviewed him on Unusual Suspects, I believe, right, at Turning Point USA.
Yeah,
and then we did PBD Podcast live from Turning Point USA a few years ago. So you've been in Charlie's circle. You've met him. You've shaken hands with him. Your reaction, I know we've covered a little bit on PBD Podcast, but for the people watching on Unusual Suspects, what was your initial reaction? And now a week later, how are you feeling?
And I just sent Connor, I just sent you a clip of him. You're in the old vault podcast, and he walks in. He compliments me on what I did against Steve Schmidt from the Young Turks. I just sent it to Connor. But we were at the vault, and I'm so focused on this event, entrepreneurs building, bro. It's actually changes you as a man, as a business. Dude, I own a production company, but still, just, the business of Vincent Oshana. I'm a business, right? I'm a businessman, whatever. Tony Robbins is up there, and Pat, besides eating and having your phone off, which we always do at dinners, I had it down because I'm focused. Tony Robbins is doing his thing. He has dancers. It's everything. And I see the light on my phone. I'm like, damn it, I have to, because we're here. And Pat goes, Charlie's been shot. Charlie Kirk, true or false? And I'm like, bro, I knew it instantly. And I'm running in the back, and I see Pat, and I look at the video, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And obviously it looked horrible. And I'll never forget, Pat looked at me, and because I'm talking about evil, like just evil came out of my mouth just like that. And he goes, they're not gonna win. Like it was instant. And I had this feel of like calm, because bro, in that moment, you're like, oh my God, they tried this with Trump. They tried to literally, by the way, they were going for his head to blow it off. And I believe the same type of evil was after Trump that went after Charlie. But I just felt this sense of like, by the way, you want to talk about initial fear? We're at this event. There's 8,000 people in this room. Whatever list Charlie was on, we are on that list. We're influential. Pat talks about, young people, God. He holds Muslims accountable. He holds Jewish people accountable. I'm a proponent of Jesus Christ. I judge Israel. I judge Muslims. I judge everybody. It's a sense of like, oh, damn, we're all very, very vulnerable. And then instantly I went to his wife and his kids, and apparently that they were there, and they were running to him, and what she had to go through in the moment. And then the next day, and seeing her speak a couple days later, Rob, I said to myself the quote of, God will never give you anything that you can't handle. And she was living proof of it. And now all the aftermath that we're still trying to find out, which, mind you, we're never going to know the truth. Rob, with the FBI, with the shooting, with this, at the end of the day, you're never going to know the absolute and full truth. And that's the one thing that pisses me off.
Humberto. Before we go to Humberto, take a look. This is the video. Yeah. Connor found it and put it in. This is Charlie Kirk when he came to the PBD podcast.
2 years
it
ago.
Just shows you what the guy was like. I know that it's on camera, but this is not on camera. This was somebody shooting on a cell phone. Yeah. This is what Charlie Kirk was like when you dealt with him off camera.
PBD podcast. Guess who's going to be on it?
What's
Charlie.
Up? This guy's the best. That freak from the Lincoln Project.
Oh, you mean Steve Schmidt?
That was one of the best clips I've ever seen.
One of the best clips. Listen, you should hear him again. Listen.
I mean, I actually love Steve.
I was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he was 10 out of 10. Adam goes, I love Steve. But dude, great. Like, just awesome guy. Looked at like by the way, I never met him. He went up to me and was like, bro, hilarious. I love that. And he was just a great soul and just taken too soon.
Humberto, where were you when you found out Charlie Kirk had been assassinated? And what was your initial reaction? And now a week removed, how are you feeling?
I was right next to Pat and Vinny. He sends a text message, and we have the rule: no bad news before going on stage. Sure. Pat was about to go on stage, sends a message. Vinny runs in. They have the conversation, and I'm in my head. I was like, "How can I?" Like I replied immediately. I was like, "Pat, let me investigate this. Let me
verify.
Let me verify it first to see if I can slow it down." I saw the video, knew it, and then we had a beautiful moment. We got on our knees, we prayed. And then I started thinking about us. You and I, Rob, we're behind Pat like 24/7, especially doing events and everything. We're walking around. Vinny, you and I, we're walking around. Bullets don't discriminate. I'm probably not as influential as Vinny or you or Pat, but I'm on the line of sight of anyone that wants to hurt Pat. I was like, holy crap, this is real. And coming from like a very violent political background in South America and Asia. Political violence is real, and the only thing I want to say, like, this is ingrained on Marxism. All right, all this leftists that we see during the 19th and 20th century, they will call this the propaganda of the deed. All right, like, this is core Marxism. Like, assassinating tyrants or dictators is a mandate for those. Like, as we Christians, we have our 10 commandments. These people have as a commandment. If you see, like, it's not like actually modern Antifa, they think that killing a fascist is self-defense. It's not murder. So I don't want anyone coming around saying like, oh, it's both sides or this political violence. This is a core tenet of modern Marxism, and I'm shocked. I'm sad. He will come around once every 3 months, like as we see Viva and whatever. He was just a guy, like, super nice. He will take pictures. He will talk. My MAGA hat, I got it from him when we went to Arizona.
Turning Point.
We went to Turning Point. So, like, I still can't believe it. I go back to look at the videos, and his work, his legacy, it's tremendous. It's just soul crushing.
Someone who is not with us, he was back here at the home base while this happened, is a guy who puts everything together. He does the research for the show, the PowerPoint, the man behind the scenes, sometimes on the scene. Connor, I'd like to go to Connor. Connor, where were you when you found out about the assassination, execution of Charlie Kirk? What were your initial reactions, and now a week removed, how are you feeling?
So I was right here at my desk, and my phone vibrated, and it was one of the little breaking news alert things that I'm sure we all have, and it says, campus activist Charlie Kirk shot at event in Utah. That was all I knew. I immediately texted our whole group chat. Everybody already knew about it by that point because we were all plugged into the same things. But I spent the next few hours trying to research things, trying to keep people up to speed because, we had Patrick going on camera soon after. So everybody was, just trying to get the updates. But all we were really looking to see was that update that, Charlie is in stable condition. Critical but stable. Doctors say he might pull through. But then the video dropped, and I don't want to dwell on that video too long, but I'm sure we've all seen it. And as soon as that came out, we kind of knew there was no positive update coming. And the fact that this happened the day before September 11th also, I think, makes it ring even more painfully for us, because this became like a 9/11 to a generation of people. Everyone remembers where you were when it happened. You remember what you were doing. You remember who you were with. You remember your immediate reactions. You watch the footage in horror knowing that nothing good is going to come of it, even though you're praying that there's some kind of positive outcome. And then, like most of the rest of us, I spent the next week outraged, furious, trying to process things. And it's really, still an ongoing thing of trying to learn what to do with what it is I'm feeling. But it's just a tragedy. And like Humberto said, this is a problem that comes from the political left, and we need to start calling it out for what it is.
You brought up a great point. I do. For my 15-year-old, this is his version of September 11th. I know that it's one person as opposed to 2,977 Americans, but I feel in the long run there's going to be a similar impact as to the, not maybe a surveillance state that 9/11 ushered in or foreign wars that the United States got involved in after 9/11, but as far as a monumental moment in your life where you're going to remember where you were when you heard the news, I have a son now that has literally the same age as I was when I knew where I was at when 9/11 happened. So to your point, yes, this is a generational defining moment for many Americans. For me, I don't want to make light. I was pooping. I was upstairs in my hotel room, and normally I'm a phone on I bring my phone in the bathroom and I poop, but this time it was I didn't have the luxury of having my phone because it was a rush to get to the bathroom. Let's put it that way.
Because you were downstairs with us.
And I had to run upstairs, and on top of that, I'm buttoned up in a suit, so there's a lot of layers to get off. Last thing I thought of was my phone. Made it to the bathroom just in time, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden my phone goes off. I'm like, not a big deal. And then I heard ding. Then I heard ding, 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 ding. Then I heard ding, 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 ding. And I went, what
the hell
is going on? And so at that point, I had to hurry up and rush to the phone, see the phone. And at first it was more shock, right? Like the actual Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed didn't actually hit me until 2 days later when I watched J.D. Vance departing Air Force 2 with Charlie Kirk's body inside of that casket. And that was the first moment where I went, oh, this is real. And it's weird because when I watched 9/11 happen, it felt like I was watching a movie, right? You're seeing buildings explode like you've never seen here in America. Yes, if you live in the Middle East, unfortunately, especially if you live in Gaza, you're used to seeing buildings explode like that. We're not used to seeing that here in the United States of America. It's not something you see every day. Either is seeing somebody get shot in the neck and live streamed. So for me, it felt like a movie. The first thing I did after I realized what had happened was I tried to call my wife and tried to get my cell phone out of my 14-year-old's hand. And the biggest regret that I have is that I was not there with him when he saw it. And unfortunately, because of this day and age, because of social media, he's riding the school bus home when this news breaks. My son sees it from other kids. So you can't even protect him. So now at the age of 15, my son has seen somebody get shot in the neck, bleed out, and die in front of his family and, thousands of people that were there. What was supposed to be a peaceful debate. It's very upsetting. My wife also had the similar reaction, got sent the video without any type of forewarning, any contextual insight as to what the video was. She broke down immediately, started crying, said it was the worst video she has ever seen in her life. And the problem is, in this day and age, social media, this is the age that we live in.
It came off the wake of Irina Zarutska, that video circulating on everyone's Twitter feed without any warning, and people gawking at the graphic bleeding out of a woman on a subway station, and you couldn't avoid it. This was the same thing. And I got 3 kids, and one of them saw the video, not of her own volition, and it was utterly traumatized. And then the only question is, as a parent, how do you deal with it? And my rationale is you try to never talk about it again and let the memory fade into whatever it'll be by way of core traumatizing memory. But just when people compare it to 9/11, and my reaction, I was talking about it yesterday, was, okay, 9/11 was, in terms of body, number of deaths, exponentially worse. In terms of social response, it was exponentially better. After 9/11, you had unification of all Americans. You had people condemning violence. You had people coming together, bereaving together.
Unless you were a Muslim. At that point, it was a really bad time to be a Muslim in the United States in the days after 9/11. But everybody else, we were like, yeah.
No, even there, I mean, there was fear and judgment, but there wasn't. People weren't running around with pitchforks trying to, get rid of their Muslim neighbors. The wake of this, it was, say, just one man, which is a universe. But the reaction was one that will actually make you believe. It'll black pill you or doom pill you to the point where, like, it's not just that there are some of these people on Earth. There's a lot of them. They're proud of it, and there's a lot of people who support them. And we're expected to coexist as loving neighbors with people who were cheering on the death or the murder or rationalizing it because he said certain things that they didn't like. I mean, you imagine every time there's a horrible, horrific murder, unwarranted, you say, well, he cheated on his girlfriend back in the day, or he cheated on his wife. Everything. The rationalizing it, the minimizing of the horror of it by seemingly reasonable people who are not, they're demonic. And that was the doom-pilling black pill part of the whole thing for me.
And oh man, we said this on the podcast yesterday, on the PBD podcast, Dave. I don't think you saw it, but I think that, like, what Rahm Emanuel in 2008 with the financial crash said, don't ever let a crisis go to waste. I think this moment, as sad and as disgusting, as vile and murderous and evil it was, it let us see what we're really up against. And it actually exposed, like, the veil came off of these evil people. And I think the devil got so joyous that all this possession that he had in all these people, it came out. And I think even the devil was like, no, wait, because to cheer, to gleefully, to have your children be like, yes, oh, who died? I got good news. Did Trump die? No, I got better news. Did JD Vance? No, Elon Musk? I think this moment finally let everybody, because we talk about this evil, everybody got to see it with their own eyes.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.